All right, now let me keep my promise and show you that magical tool, yeah, that lets you get logical control over a machine you have physical control over. Yeah, so uh, in fact, that's not only the physical control you might have over the system. So in terms of virtualization, you will still have logical control or a physical control over the hypervisor or remote access to the hypervisor environment or a private cloud controller or whatever lets you basically configure virtual machines, virtual guests, and reboot them. So what clone boot, what this tool does is letting you prepare the medium or use the medium already available to reboot the system from this new medium, and then just get over the system. Yes, get hold of control over the system. So the principle here, the principle of attack, is old, right? Remember when I told you that each upper layer of security architecture, of system architecture, explicitly trusts all below levels. So getting control over the firmware, yeah, will let you compromise the software, the operating system, and compromission of operating system will definitely let you compromise any process that is run within it. Okay, so this is the principle in action, being in action here. So what we will do, we will basically boot up the operating system from the medium we control, and we will patch, I'm sorry, conboot for us, yeah, it will patch the memory in terms of just rewriting the, using this trust that the operating system has to below to all lower layers of architecture. We will make this little function in some system DLL that just checks the password, yeah, to return true all the time whenever we enter, right? Or we will use some other functionality that will just override the uh, authentication process as a whole, right? So by pressing multiple shift buttons, yeah, just by pressing shift multiple times, we'll be able to run a console window without entering a valid username or password. So let's see how it happens. So for that, we will still use some virtualized operating system. So this is our old friend, the Windows 10 we have been attacking previously. So here is some user, he has some password. Let me show you that empty password doesn't work. And then we will shut it down, I guess, or no, can we configure it right from here? So we are using VirtualBox for virtualization, and we are going to storage, and then we will use this conboot cd, right? And now we will just reboot the machine. Okay, we'll just reset it. And as you see, something else than our familiar boot process happens. But after that, the operating system that is still on the HDD is boot up. It takes almost the same time as usual. So here we'll just enter empty password. So you got the idea. Okay, so this function in memory that is responsible for verification of user credentials is just letting us in. yeah, to an existing account in the system, or a cached account from Active Directory controller. So that doesn't matter much whether this machine is or is not a member of Active Directory domain. Okay, so it will work almost all the time, and it will work on Linux and Mac OS as well. Just because this is really down below the security architecture. It doesn't matter much what is the operating system, as long as you are able to get control, to compromise lower levels. Yeah, at the boot level you can get control of the system, and for that normally you if you are dealing with the physical system, not virtualized one, you will have to get physical control over the hardware. Okay, so this is something really recursive, right? In order to get a hold of lower levels of architecture on the logical level, you have to get physical control. But once you do that, you are basically owning the machine. Yeah, and the same thing holds true when you are dealing with hypervisors. When you are at the hypervisor, that is the lower level of virtualization for every virtual machine that runs on it, you in most cases will be able to compromise any virtual machine on it. Okay, so there are specifics. Yeah, so virtual machine and cloud hacking is a slightly different discipline on by itself. But the general idea is, if you can get to this lower level, you can compromise everything that's above. Okay, so let's try this other thing. Yeah, multiple shifts entered before logging in, just to check whether it works, because in some server in some flavors of Windows, especially server operating systems, that might not work, and we will just see what happens. It's less convenient, but still maybe even more effective, because you will get the system account shell. So what I did, I just pressed shift multiple times. I'm not sure how many you have to do before this pop-up window occurs. Yeah, so here you can see that you are already in the system 32. Okay, so basically you are administrator running a CMD exe. So it's done. From here you will add a new user, right? And change the password for him, right? So how exactly you do that? You see, it's already there. Net user 2 password 1 add. Okay, so let's check. Oh, and let's add it to administrator group. Net local group administrators. What's the correct syntax once again? Yeah, administrators, user. Oh, come on. That shouldn't be happening. Okay, so we see that it reboots itself for some reason. Maybe that some security mechanism is in action. But that's even better. Let's see that the things that we typed in the terminal persisted between the reboots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. So 5 shifts is okay. Let's see net user 2 is still there. We know his password. And now let's see, net local group administrators is the correct name. That's pretty inconvenient when you are dealing with localized operating systems other than English ones. That's that's pretty tricky to type in Cyrillic group names from this console window here, right? So you will have to deal with that somehow. But normally, in most cases, you will use English local. So from this point, basically, when you are in a domain controller virtual machine, you basically have owned the organization. Yeah. So let's exit now, and let's try to log in as another user, right? Remember the password is password 1. It takes some time because the new account is created for the first logon, and Windows is really happy we are here. So you see, this is like the normal post-exploitation tasks you would do from the Windows console once you're on the system and you cannot run Meterpreter, for example, right? You would just run a cmd exe, and it will let you use these typical Windows commands to just create a new user with the password you know, and include that user into local administrators group. So this is a normal way to increase your privilege over the system once you have compromised it. So this is how it happens. I think in the next video we will focus more on how to do these post-exploitation tasks using only legitimate tools you can find in almost any Windows system. And then, yeah, I think we will get to online password cracking. And then we will get to some basics of Linux exploitation and post-exploitation. See you there.